What's good, everybody? What's up? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to figure out these new earbuds, man. I'm trying to figure out how to put this shit on. What's up, everybody, man? Just Nick, salute, my brother. What's up? Hi, Mom. I'm good. I miss you, too. What's up, man? How's everybody doing, man? Welcome, y'all. Welcome. What's good, man? What's good? Yeah. Hey, we're almost at 100%, y'all. We almost a whole lot better now than what we were last week. Yeah, I'm gonna turn this shit off. We got something to talk about, y'all. We got some stuff to talk about, y'all. Man, welcome everybody, man. What's good? I hope everyone is having a beautiful day so far. I hope everybody's week has been good. We're halfway through the week, y'all. Almost at the end of the week. It's almost over. We about to be at the weekend. Have a good time. So welcome, man. Welcome. Now, I wanted to start right here. Have a little moment of transparency, right? When I started this journey of having this show, having a podcast, a lot of it had to do with what I thought about this space, right? I felt like a lot of media people spoke a lot about things that were outside of the game. And I was so gung-ho on making everything about the game of basketball. And what I've realized in this process and watching all of these games, watching Starting Five, interviews after interviews, consuming as much basketball content that I used to consume when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old, right? When I really fell in love with this shit. And I came to the realization that there's a lot of non-basketball stuff that's super important that goes on in this space. And as much as a lot of people want to just talk about the dribble moves or the shot or the defense or who's there or matchups or all of these other things, right? I've realized that it is super important to touch on other parts that make these teams, these players, these people really great at what they do. And sometimes those things have nothing to really do with the game of basketball. And I think it's important that I got that realization, that I've realized that now, right? That I understand that now, right? And I think it's important that we have that conversation consistently. Obviously, we're not over here talking about what the fuck people are doing on a Wednesday or Tuesday night unless it's relevant. But the way these people communicate, and you guys will see what I'm talking about in just a second, right? But the way these people communicate, the way these coaches communicate with these players are extremely important. And I think that we all got to pay attention to that. So we're going to get right into it because I want y'all to hear this quote. If y'all haven't had the opportunity to do so yet, please go ahead and watch Starting Five on Netflix with Jason Tatum, LeBron James, Jimmy Butler, Anthony Edwards, Domantas Sabonis. It's great content with great insight into these people's lives because that's what they are. And I know oftentimes when you start talking about some of the issues or the struggles that these people have to deal with, people have this perspective, oh, you're crying, or you're giving you're talking about problems that a millionaire has, but everything is in perspective, right? And I think to make these people human it goes a really long way. Now, like I said, I want y'all to hear this, and we'll talk about it in just 1 second. Go.
It seems to me that Jayson has to deal with unfair criticism.
Gets to deal with.
Yeah.
He gets to deal with it. It's the ultimate compliment. And that's what we talk about. It's like, this is what you asked for. You asked to be one of the best players in the NBA, on the best team in the NBA, with an opportunity, to be an icon for the league for a long, long time. This is what you asked for.
This is what you asked for. Joe Mazzulla talking about Jayson Tatum. So that's what we are going to be speaking on today. Now, before we move right along, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. It really, really, truly helps the channel out. And to the first-time listeners, the last-time listeners, welcome in, y'all. And welcome to another episode of the Jayson Estrera Show, where we talk about basketball, sports, and any topic that comes our way as accurate as possible. Now, today, we are going to be talking about getting to deal with some of the criticism and getting exactly what you asked for. So we're going to get into that right in a second. Oh my God, what's good, Elijah? Oh my God, that was my favorite part and completely changed my view. What's Cody? I wish I got to be coached by him. What's Cody? But yes, like I said, if y'all haven't gotten a chance to watch the starting five, please go do that. It's really incredible, and like I said, it gives a great insight into these players outside of the basketball court, right? We really only get to see them for that 2-hour span, and they still have the rest of their day for shit to happen. Yeah, dude is unreal. But yes, we are going to talk about getting exactly what he asked for. Now, that was a quote from Joe Mazzulla talking about Jayson Tatum. And the producer or whoever was asking the question was, asking Joe what he thinks about the unfair criticism that Jayson Tatum has to deal with. And he said no, it's not that he has to deal with it. He gets to deal with it. It's a privilege. It's exactly what he asked for, right? Jayson Tatum, through any interview, he's spoken about there was no second option. It was basketball or nothing. This is all he ever wanted, was to be the best basketball player, win champ. This is what he wanted. And there's praise in that. And there's the highs, the people cheering for you, the people loving you. But then there's also the hate that comes along with it. They go hand in hand, really. What do people say all the time, right? If nobody's hating you, you're not doing something right, right? And that's what we're seeing with Jayson Tatum. And there's the All-Star Game episode during the starting five, right? And this is how I know fans are funny. In the All-Star Game video, or in the All-Star Game episode, sorry. This was last year in Indiana, correct, right? In Indiana, his jerseys were sold out at the store during the All-Star Game. He said, oh, there's a lot of great players. There's a lot of fantastic players. His jersey was sold out. This wasn't in Boston. This is in Indiana. So what that tells me is there's a lot of closeted Jayson Tatum fans. And it's funny because if y'all have ever heard or listened to the Crash Dummies podcast, it was a hilarious podcast. They had one caller in, and I want y'all to hear this really quickly.
What's a celebrity you have beef with and why?
I fucking hate Jayson Tatum so much, bro. Like, I get angry. I'm sweating right now, currently. Thinking about this thing.
You talking about champion Jayson Tatum?
Yeah, what's up, bro? You good? Wait, why you had to specify? I watch sports. I know what happened.
Why do you hate Jayson Tatum?
Bro, I hate Jayson Tatum, one, because, like I said, I'm from Philly, so I'm a Sixers fan. Not only is he always beating my team, he won the chip, and my celebrity crush since I was, like, 16 was LMA. That been LMA for, like, 8 years. I'm the only one who knew it, though. Like, it's crazy. Now, he got her pregnant, and I feel like everybody just found out they was in a relationship. Whole time I was in Reddit back in like 2019 trying to find out who she dated, because for whatever reason I thought I had a chance. I'm looking at her story like, okay, she in St. Bart's this date. I'm looking at his shit. Oh wait, he on the beach. I don't know what beach this is, but why does she match? I see a little light.
What's a celebrity you have beef?
And I think that man on that call was able to articulate how a lot of guys probably feel about Jayson Tatum. He tall, light-skinned, got good hair, he got great at basketball. He's on one of the most historic celebrated franchises in the NBA, which is also one of the most hated franchises in the NBA, which is the Boston Celtics. He had me in the first round. This is how this course should be. And like I said, I think there's a lot of closeted Jayson Tatum fans that will not admit it for one reason or another. Right? And so, what does this mean for them moving forward? Because I've been very big on the possibility of this Boston Celtics team running a dynasty. And you got to have the star players to do it, but you also got to have a coach. And when I said earlier that there are very important things that happen in the game of basketball that has nothing to do with basketball, Joe Mazzulla is exhibit A of that, right? If we look back at the Chicago Bulls of the 90s, right? If you saw The Last Dance, or if you just knew it because you're just a basketball junkie, you know, hoop guys know, hoop heads know that Phil Jackson was not the genius behind the triangle offense or their strategies or their style of play. This guy named Tex Winter. And the reason that they worked was because Tex had that part down. And obviously, Phil Jackson knows a shit ton of basketball as well, too. And probably did a lot of learning under Tex Winter so that he'd be able to teach and coach these things, right? And obviously, he had the great players to go along with it. What Phil Jackson did great is manage alpha male personalities. Had nothing to really do with how to dribble, shoot, or defend. had everything to do with analyzing how these people are, what makes them tick, what drives them, who they are, who they want to become. All of these what do we call it? All like the fluffy shit that some people might say. It's important because when you think about sports, especially in basketball, because we're talking about basketball, right? You're talking about professionals that have been dealing with the nuances of basketball, strategies, how you do certain things. This is what you... They're the ones that implement these things. There's not a whole lot that you could tell them that they don't already know or that they haven't experienced. Right? It's about getting 12 players on the same page. When I was in college, I was in a speech class. And we had, for the final, it was a test, right? We had a test for the final. It was a final exam. But it was on a curve, right? So whatever the average is for the class, right? It's going to be graded on a curve. So if everyone does poorly or everyone gets like a 70 and one kid gets 100, it fucks everyone up. Because basically that one kid would get 100 and everyone else would basically fail. So I raised my hand and I had the question. I was like, all right, so if everyone gets the same answer, regardless of what the total, the grade is at the end, let's say everyone gets a 65 out of 100. I said, does everyone get an A+ in the class? He said, yes. I said, okay, if all of us get the wrong thing and we all get a 0 or like a 1 or some shit, because let's say you need a point, do we all get an A+? And he said, yes. And he said, can you get 25 people on the same page and guarantee that there isn't one person that'll change their answer? That had nothing to do with learning the material on the test. Had everything to do with managing people and personalities. Now, long story short, I wasn't able to do that. I wasn't able to do that. We were trying to get people on study sessions together. Someone would always not show up. People here, people there. We ended up having to just take the test as it was because people didn't have faith in each other. And it was hard to instill that. It sounded easy. Everybody got to get on the same page. Everyone got to do the same thing. Blah, 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 blah. But one person's thinking about, oh shit, I can't. I need certain grades. Someone's like, fuck, I can't. People are like, fuck, I can't fuck it up. I don't trust what this person's going to do. This person did something in this part of the year that I think they might. So much shit. And honestly, that social experiment of trying to get 25 people to do the same thing, I realized was way harder than actually studying for the fucking exam. So as a coach in the NBA, are you able to get 12 guys on the same page from the start of the season and, more importantly, at the end of the season going into the playoffs? That's why I don't like, people are so inserious. That's why I don't like when people speak on the black community heavy. I asked them to show me the one group that is under one accord. It's hard to do, and I haven't found a group. Yeah. I mean, there's, it's difficult, right? And so when you look at the Boston Celtics being led by Joe Mazzulla, who seems to know what buttons to push to get certain people to do what, and he kept telling Jayson Tatum during the playoffs last year to dominate the game with his rebounding and his assists, and that he was doing a great job on defense. So it's no surprise to me that even though some people forget, even Jayson Tatum led that team in points per game through the entire playoffs and the finals, but he was also leading them in rebounds and assists. And that wasn't an accident. And this is why I think this team has the chance to really flirt with a dynasty, because you have a guy in Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown they look like they completely bought into all of this. And you have a guy in Joe Mazzulla that knows how to get people on the same page, to work towards the same goal, and to do that day in and day out. There's a saying in competitive Call of Duty. I'm sure a lot of you motherfuckers don't watch competitive Call of Duty, but there's a saying in competitive Call of Duty where if you're a team that's trying to break a hill and the other team has a setup already, right? There's different ways that you could break a team setup. You can go in through this door, you can go in through that door, that window, whatever the case may be, right? And they always say making the right decision and the right call on how you're going to break a setup is less important than your team of four doing something together. Because sometimes the consistency in your teamwork will make up for your mistakes, because you guys are together, because you guys are all moving as a unit. One person breaks down or something happens, you guys are there to support and to help, as opposed to everyone doing their own shit, or one person has this idea to do this person has this idea to do that. And I think that a similar thing applies to the NBA, or just in sports in general. You can make the wrong read in basketball and still get a bucket if your team is on the same page and are reacting to each other, reading each other, and playing off of one another. Breakdowns happen all the time. But is your team prepared for it? When one guy does some solo hero ball shit in basketball, are the other four guys prepared for that? And do they know what to do in that situation? We've seen a Michael Jordan, a Kobe Bryant. We've seen all of these what they call high volume shooters have these moments. But guess who got their back? The other four guys on the floor. Right or wrong? And I think that goes an extremely long way. So Joe Mazzulla, Jayson Tatum have shown incredible leadership qualities and their ability to manage their guys. Really speaking to Joe Mazzulla. And we're going to switch gears just a little bit, right? Just a little bit to another star in this league who is growing into a leader himself and is really the opposite of Jayson Tatum, right? The person that in the starting five they kept showing as the opposite side of the same coin to Jayson Tatum, which is Anthony Edwards. Now, recently, Anthony Edwards said in an interview, he said, "I can agree to disagree because in today's game, everybody's different." Talking about the leadership that Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant have had, right? And he said, you can't talk to everybody the same. You got to talk to players differently. Certain players can take it. I talk to some of my teammates like, hey, get your shit together. But some players, you got to go talk to them on the side. You can't really cuss them out in front of everybody. I had a... What's is that supposed to be G? Is that supposed to be a G? You had a gripe with him? You had a gripe with him. Now you like him less. I'm still on the Anthony Edwards. I'm still on that team, dog. And obviously, there isn't one way to lead. Right? I think Jayson Tatum showed that just this past season, right? Jayson Tatum historically has been, oh, he's too nice. He needs to be more of an asshole. He needs to be a dick to get a championship and to be looked at as one of the best players in the league. You had a Steph Curry in the way that he led, even though, you know, a lot of us would agree that the vocal leader of that team was Draymond Green. And so Anthony Edwards isn't wrong in the sense of there are different types of leadership, right? And it's fine for him to disagree. That's totally that's on him. But I do think that it's important to have someone that has that fiery personality that's not going to let anyone fuck around. You need someone that holds everyone accountable. Because like we just said, Steph Curry was the quiet leader. I'm going to show you better than I'm going to tell you. And Steve Kerr was kind of like that too. He's more mild-mannered. He's not going to, even though he's had some blow-ups, right? Draymond Green was that, hey, get your fucking shit together, man. What the fuck are you doing? Clearly, on the Boston Celtics, Joe Mazzulla is that guy. If you look at a prime example, Tim Duncan. We've never heard, I don't even think I've ever heard him curse. I don't even think I've ever heard him yell. But who was that guy for their team? Greg Popovich. So no, Anthony Edwards is not wrong. He's that type of person. Be yourself. Don't change your personality. But the reality is, in a high intensity league where you're dealing with the best of the best, people got to get cussed out sometimes. Who on that team plays that role? I don't know if it's Finch. It was never Cat before. Is it Mike Conley? I don't think so. So who will that person be? And I was listening a little bit to the Gills Arena crew, and they were talking about this exact topic. And Kenya Martin brought up the idea of, you know, like in the military, they don't have time to deal with, oh, how do you want to get spoken to? I'm gonna coddle you, I'm gonna hold your hand. No, get your ass up and do some fucking push-ups. There was no time for your feelings. Motherfucker, we grown men in here. I can't deal with that for you. And I'm sure the really good groups in the military have both. Somebody on the team, hey man, it's all good. Don't worry about him. He just talked like that. You're good. Don't worry about it. Just listen to what he's saying, not how he's saying it. Right? Listen to the message, not the tone. You gotta have both sides. I think so in the NBA because every great dynasty has shown so. You got a loud, rah-rah type of personality that's going to tell you, hey, what the fuck are you doing? And you got another person that's going to lay it down easy. I get annoyed with the mentalities, dogs, leaders, etc. Like you're saying, it should be how it's done, but we're all grown. I shouldn't have to open my mouth and bitch at you. No, that's facts. That's facts. And the reality is this. I'm going to take this outside of basketball real quick. I think us as people, there's this negative connotation on confrontation and arguments and having heated discussions, right? Teams where everyone just handles business is the way to go. Nuggets and Celtics prime example, right? I'm going to give y'all a little peek into my relationship a little bit, right? I've had times where Sam and I have fought and we had a heated fight or argument, whatever you want to call it, discussion. We, separate just to cool off a little bit. And I'm literally passing by her desk and I was like, I'm truly glad that we had that fight. Truly. Because I was able to express how I'm feeling. You were able to express how you're feeling. I'm able to see in real time how my actions have affected you. And you were able to do the same with me. And now our relationship is able to grow from that. I'm not saying we're perfect or anything, but confrontations are a part of any relationship. Even good ones, even great ones. And so you can't run from that. I get that maybe some people don't respond to getting cursed out. That's totally fine. But how many times are you going to let someone fuck up before you really lose your shit? And then guess what happens? I know y'all have all dealt with someone like this where you feel like you have to watch your words with them. You can't just go off the cuff and just say, "Man, what the fuck are you doing?" Guess what happens when you do blow up on them though? Guess what happens? I bet you they don't do it again. I'm telling y'all, it's so necessary. I get what Anthony Edwards is saying. That because that's his personality. And he can only act like himself and be himself. But like I said, the truth is somebody gonna have to kick somebody in the ass to get them to go up there. Otherwise, all you're going to do is keep cultivating that bad habit that this person has already built up. In order to break that cycle, heads got to clash sometimes. And then you move forward. Because at the end of the day, that person is going to know what your intentions are in that argument. Whether they like it or not. And especially these guys on these teams where they're seeing their teammates more than their families. I'm sure it's gonna get to the point, if Anthony Edwards were to cuss out somebody that don't take, it's gonna come to the point where they're like, "Damn man, like I must have really upset him for him to get to that point. It must have really bothered him to get to that point. And then Anthony Edwards is going to say, damn, man, like, I know I probably shouldn't have done that, da-da-da. Growth. It's important. And I say all of this to say, Anthony Edwards is showing his age. If you watched, that doesn't need to be anyone's role. They need a no-nonsense vet, and they may have it. But Ant needs that himself, and he acts every bit of his age. That hey, what in the fucking Matrix is that? We just mentioned his age at the same time, dog. Excuse me. But if you watch the starting five, the one takeaway that I have from Anthony Edwards is all that aura, star quality shit is true. It's great. It's great, right? It's wonderful for him, right? But his age is showing, number one. And number two, he doesn't understand the responsibility that he has. Not yet. I know he's said before he doesn't like missing time. He wants to be able to play hard for everybody out there in the stands, which is great. He still doesn't understand what the face of the NBA actually is. And the responsibility that comes with that. Because there's going to come a point where these same people that love and praise him are going to turn on him. And all of those cheers, all of those screams are going to turn into boos. And it's going to turn into criticism. And it's going to turn into, why haven't you won yet? Oh, do you not care? Oh, da-da-da-da-da. And that's going to be the time where we'll see if he's really Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, LeBron, all these guys, or if he's going to be just another really, really good player in this league. Because, like, the responsibilities of a player, like, if you think about it like a job interview, they'll list all the responsibilities, right? When you a star in the NBA, there's a little icon on the bottom. There's the little plus sign icon on the bottom that you're going to have to click because there's more responsibilities that you're going to have. And I wonder if he's aware of those things. I mean, even he said he still feels like a kid, which is totally fine. But like I said, there's going to be a time where this is all on him. 3, 4, 5 playoffs go by. You're not in the NBA Finals. People are going to start questioning. They don't give a fuck about your age. Look at Jayson Tatum. There's gonna come a time. And I hope he's ready for that. Yes, I'm so glad you talked about this. He's doing great, a good player. But a lot of these talks from him and fans are premature. And you know what? Also, I know that some folks hate the comparisons, right? And Anthony Edwards said it on the show. He says the kids love him, right? He has the kids' fans, which is great. It's great. We saw the same thing with John Morant. We saw the same thing with John Morant. Now, I'm not saying Anthony Edwards going to have a gun on his live, right? But 4 kids at the age of 23 is something to just think about. I get that he's gotten better year after year. I get that he keeps improving. The type of locked in that you gotta be to be an NBA champion and a multi-time NBA champion. And not only that, because he said it, to be the best player ever. Oh, you're going to have to be different, dog. You're going to have to be different. Because if you're doing all the shit that you're doing right now, that means you have to be training twice, 3 times as hard to make up for that other bullshit. You saw what Michael Jordan had to do? The motherfucker with gambling, drinking, da-da-da. Game time, baby. Here's 50. Game in and game out. And that's just the cross that he's going to have to bear. It is what it is, dog. I don't make the rules. I keep telling y'all, I don't make the rules. I'm just telling y'all about it. I was just about to bring up the baby mama and babies. And he allowed to do what he want. I mean, not really if he cheating on homegirl or whatever. But that's his prerogative. But I think it's a sign to a potentially larger issue that could be that we could have here. You know, I spoke the one thing that I took away from one of the things that I took away from the LeBron parts of the starting 5 was how much credit LeBron has given and continues to give to Savannah. How locked in LeBron has had to be his entire career to get to this point. There were talks about, Tatum wanting to be a great dad, Jimmy Butler wanting to be a great dad. I'm not saying that LeBron's not a great dad. But Savannah gave him the room to not have to be a great dad day in and day out. Lock in, motherfucker. You said you wanted it. You put chosen one on your back. Go do it. I got the kids. Because this is what you asked for, LeBron James. You had the chosen one. You were getting compared to Michael Jordan. You came out the league with 23 on your back. The king. You asked for this. And he was blessed enough to have a partner by his side that said, hey, man, I'm going to take all the chains off that weigh you back in terms of this family shit. Go do you. It just goes to show you the level of locked in you got to be to reach those heights in the NBA. If you want to reach those heights. And obviously, Bron has still been a great dad to his kids. Still gets his video games in. Anthony Edwards loves his video games. But nothing comes before the NBA work, not the other work. Vanna for MVP, 100%. And so, that's the cross that Anthony Edwards is gonna have to bear, really, for the rest of his career, because he's here now. He can go take a step back. And he's just going to be another guy in the league. Or he can keep pushing forward and be the best, or one of the best, if not the best in the league. And his skill and his talent, I think, warrants that. Will he get there? Well, that remains to be seen. Now, speaking of LA, because I heard I was deep in some Instagram comments yesterday, y'all. Speaking of the Lakers, man. Matter of fact, here, let me play this quote real quick, actually. Another quote from Starting Five, y'all. Another quote from Starting Five. Excuse me. Listen to this.
If there was somebody on the floor that I felt was in better condition or was better fit for the moment than me, then I could possibly sit down for a little longer. I have not seen that yet.
And I mean, a great quote from LeBron, and this was the end of the first episode. This is how they brought Anthony Edwards into the episode. It was beautifully done. But LeBron talks about not seeing anyone on the floor that's in better condition than him and is better fit for the moment than him. And I think a lot of people will take that as, oh, he doesn't see anyone in the NBA that he could pass the torch to in terms of being the next guy in the NBA, being the next person to really carry this league. Which I think is true. But I think it speaks volumes to what he thinks about one of his own teammates being Anthony Davis. Because one of the reasons why they got together, a lot of the conversation around it was, all right, Bron and AD gonna get together, and slowly Anthony Davis is gonna transition to the number one guy on that team. And we're in what, year 22? LeBron's like 39, 40 now, and it's yet to happen. I took it as, who on the Lakers will allow him to sit without a dip? Hey, yo, we are fucking locked in right now, Elijah. We are locked the fuck in, dog. Hey, that's my brother from another mother. No cap. I don't know if he intended for it to be a shot at Anthony Davis, but I think that that's just the reality of it. Which brings me to this other topic. Yeah, we locked in, gay, for sure. I love it. There was an Instagram comment. They were arguing up and down about who should be taken out of the top 75 list for Dwight Howard, because clearly Dwight Howard deserves to be on the top 75 list. And the two names that kept popping up were Damian Lillard and Anthony Davis. And for as good as Anthony Davis is, he hasn't had many individual accomplishments. When Anthony Davis came into the NBA, he was supposed to be the defensive lockdown guy. And a lot of us thought that he would be a reigning Defensive Player of the Year award winner year after year. And then, during his career, he evolved his offense. And if you're a Defensive Player of the Year and then you all of a sudden can figure out how to score 25 to 30 points per game, we're looking at the MVP, arguably the best player in the league. And AD has never hit that point in his career. I just think that they don't have a great team past Bron and AD. Bron also didn't sit during the Olympics. He is that great. Yeah, I mean, he is. And I don't want this to come off as I'm shitting on Anthony Davis, right? Because he's a massive part of why they won that championship in, 2020 or 2021 with the Lakers. Massive reason why they were able to win in the Olympics as well. But he's someone that never took that leap from you're a really good player in this league to, oh, you're top 3. That's someone with all of the defensive tools that he has, with all the offensive tools that he has. I get that LeBron is great. I totally get that. At what point is Anthony Davis going to say, hey, big dog, I got you. hey, yo, listen. You can score 20 a game, fam. I got this shit. And it's just never come to fruition. And I wonder what AD's career is going to look like at the end of it, with no Defensive Player of the Year awards, no MVP awards. He's always around the best players. He's always just around there or just outside of it. But he's never taken a leap to get into that table. And I think that that's part of the reason why these guys have struggled so much. Because I think it was Gilbert Arenas that was talking about Anthony Davis could keep up with Jokic except for the assists, right? He could keep up with him with the scoring and the rebounding, which is great. At what point does Anthony Davis say, hey, yo, I got to match his stats, 100% match his stats? Which means I need to be ball dominant from tip to the end of this game. And for as great as he is, he's never done that. And like I said, he's going to still end up being one of the greatest players in this league, but he's someone that, if you really think about it, has had the potential to be top 3. I mean, he could shoot the ball, he could drive, he got the fadeaway, the hook shot, he could lay up, defense unbelievable. Like, if you're not going to score 30 points per game and take pressure off of LeBron on the offensive end, you got to at least go get the Defensive Player of the Year award. Am I bugging? Or is that asking for too much? That's just where my brain goes, right? Like, okay, shit. All right, Bron's still going. All right, let's give him the benefit of the doubt and say Bron really feels like he could still control offense. He could still do all of this. He's the point guard still. Whatever. And Anthony Davis, like, I'm not trying to go play one-on-one every time. You should have been getting the Defensive Player of the Year award since the motherfucker got there then. Because he's taking pressure off of you on offense then. Now you got to lock everything down on defense. But, you know, he still gets his 24, 25, however many fucking rebounds. And then boom, the game's over. Man, it's just tough. It's tough because, like I said, like we were just talking about, there's a lot of things that goes into the game. A lot of things that we're not privy to. But it's just when we look at it and we see how good he is, we're like, dang, bro, like you could really do more. The players could give you everything we asked. Bron and Steph would be special. AD is top 10 and does everything. They need help. Truthfully, especially now, their team is not that great. But like I said, I think you can see when players really turn that corner and say, this is my shit. It just is what it is. You could see it with their play. We saw the Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle dynamic. We saw when Kevin Durant got on the Warriors. I mean, you could see it. Also, he should be winning Defensive Player of the Year awards, but his narratives and favorites over production. Yeah, and you know, that's the Rudy Gobert thing too, but we're not going to keep talking about that. And let's just call it what it is too, right? Anthony Davis has never been a loud person. He's not a person that really talks about himself like that, or talks about his game like that, right? He's just fortunate enough to be with Bron in a massive market like LA, right? So that helps him for how quiet he is. But hey, man, like, Giannis is in Milwaukee, dog. Giannis is in Milwaukee. Like, Anthony Davis is in a prime location to be able to get some of these narratives, but it's just not happening. I think he has tried. An example is play-in or teams like New Orleans, but once they face teams that can match up, you try to solve problems with no answer. That's facts. No, that's facts. That's 100% facts. That there's aspects of basketball that you just can't control. Sag-off yoke floater, you stop him, Gordon lob. Facts. And also, here's the other part. I'm saying all this shit, and here's the other part. Jokic could just be straight up better. And I think he is. So there's that part of it as well too, right? Like, we keep saying, you know, we see, and I've said this before, we see how good someone is one way, right? And I think us as fans sometimes will scale it up. We're like, oh, if you do X, Y, and Z, then you can get to A, B, and C. But sometimes they can't get that. They can't get there. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they can't make up that ground. Sometimes the guys are really just better. But I mean, there was a like against Denver in the playoffs, man. And I think, you know, when people talk about empty stats, I think what it really means is the timing of when you get your buckets, right? Like your points. And, you know, there was, I forget which game it was, man. Anthony Davis started the game great. He was getting into shit, getting into Jokic, layup, jumper, Third and fourth quarter, just not as aggressive, not looking for his shot, not getting into Jokic's chest. Granted, it could be a team strategy, a team game plan thing. But at what point, as an individual player, are you going to say, yo, check this out. I get that he's great. He can't guard me, though. And you have to get those shot opportunities when it's crucial in the third and in the fourth quarter. And like I said, I don't want to harp on it too much, but I do think that that's a factor, and that's when you get the analysts say, oh, this person folded under pressure, or he's scared of the moment, all this bullshit that they be talking about. All right. The Lakers have to play perfect games, which in my opinions are worse. I try to judge teams by the margin of error they can have. GSW used to be able to just make mistakes, not anymore. Oh, 100%. AD could also do better, like using Jokic and cannot beat you in a foot race to the basket. Like, it's like, all right, this person, all right, let's call this guy better. Let me try to get him in foul trouble. Let me try to get his motherfucking in foul trouble. So he can't play the same in the third and the fourth quarter. And like I said, maybe I'm reading too much into it. There is the team aspect that I'm just not not factoring in that much, because I think, there's the individual part of the game too that you can control. But like, hey, ask for the ball in the third and in the fourth quarter, man. Like, get to your spot, get to your shit. You save some of those fadeaways for the third and the fourth. Kobe said it before. He saved some of those shots that he knows he can get for the crucial parts of the game. But yeah, I do think that my guy that Bron was talking about, Anthony Davis, unfortunately. Now, excuse me. I'm not saying this applies. By no means am I saying this applies. But when we're looking at the future of the NBA, Wemby just recently had a quote talking about how some of the guys, it was kind of, people were asking him if there were players that he still admired in the league, right, to Wemby. And he said, some of the guys I've been watching growing up, I'm not disappointed, but I'm like, that's it. But some of them, I'm talking like KD, of course. I got to know Rudy Gobert more with the national team. I know their work ethic. I know how they viewed the game, and it's really inspiring, and I want to do the same. We've heard about this with Kobe before. When he came into the league, he thought everybody worked hard, and then he realized that was not the case. And I think it's just Wemby's such a lame. You think so? That motherfucker about to torch our favorite players, dog. No, he's just talking about how it was like the Kobe quote when he said he got into the league, and he was surprised that guys weren't as prepared as they should be. Guys aren't working on their game the way he thought they would be, or working out as much as he thought. And I think that's a reality, right? Like we started off with this episode, right? You get what you asked for. And if you want to become one of the greats in this league, it's gonna take you doing shit that's different from everybody else. And Wemby's been, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you, I feel like Wemby's been talking spicy about the NBA since he came in the league. I feel like he's been looking at these NBA guys like they're chump. No bullshit. Like, I really do think he's been looking at a lot of these guys like, y'all can't fuck with me. Which is, I think, it's a great thing, right? And the work has to follow that, and that seems to be the case. And so, seeing... he had that quote, we're going to see how much better he's gotten. They've spoken about how much weight he's gained, how much, muscle weight he's gained over the summer, which I don't even think is real. I don't even think it's possible to gain 25 pounds of muscle in like 2 months. I don't even think that's physically possible, but whatever. We get to see now. Yeah, but Wemby is also saying like he don't see himself play. I don't like that because he got on the court and looked uncoordinated. I mean, let's be honest about the taller players, man. Like, they gonna look like that. Like, outside of a Kevin Durant, they gonna look like they got 2 left feet sometimes. It's gonna look awkward. Like, it's not gonna look all the way clean. He's 7'4" or whatever the fuck. Or it's gonna look weird. But I think if he can lock in and really work on the parts of his game that he needs to. I think we've spoken about his back to the basket game and whatnot. But yeah, I think it's also than just be cool and don't talk. I also think he's being a little too honest. It's like this media training shit. He new to it. He don't know how to lie. Tyrese Maxey's a star. He don't need to talk. Like he don't know how to lie. Like I don't know if y'all heard the Kawhi Leonard quote from a couple weeks ago about if anyone has impressed him in training camp. And he made it sound like somebody was about to. He was like, yeah, man, I've been watching everybody during training camp, da-da-da-da. Only for him to say that nobody impressed him. Oh, shit. Yeah, I do think that it's important to note this. Because I think sometimes as fans of the game, because obviously we're not in these practices, we're not in the gym with these guys. We just assume that they're always working on their shit. And I think the reality is that's a far smaller number than what we really think it is. I mean, he could not talk, but I do appreciate the little peek behind the curtain that we don't usually get to see. Obviously, he's not going to name anyone, but I'm sure that there are guys that we love that just don't work on their games as much. Bro, out here hooping with Kai Jones, don't blame him. I think Kawhi don't have the bad mentality. I mean, hey, Kawhi is a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother animal. He's supposed to be out right now too, right? I don't even think he's playing this season. I don't think it's his fault per se. I think his body is just fucking broken down, and I don't think there's any fixing it at this point. It's just GG's to him, dog. Like, fuck. That shit's unfortunate. But yeah, man, like we gotta see what this year turns out into. I'm actually super excited. I know I've been saying it. I really think everybody about to go crazy this year. I'm getting the vibe that a lot of guys have been putting in the work. So I guess to kind of counter what Wemby's saying, I do think I think it's gonna be a lit year. I think it's gonna be a lit ass year. So we're just gonna move. We're gonna move on just a little bit, just a little bit, and preview the WNBA Finals game. That's tonight, correct? What time is it tonight? I think it's 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. The Liberty and the Lynx are tied 1-1, going to Minnesota, Minneapolis. Oh, which, by the way, speaking of game, this is what, game 3, right? Speaking of which, there was a quote that Jayson Tatum said during starting 5. You seen my boy Scotty and the Dickinator. Yo, Scotty Barnes, dog. You know what? We need him to be one of the best players in the league, dog. I want to see it. Fuck it. I feel like he kind of nuts, so it's a good thing. I like the people that are a little crazy, dog. I do like it. But yeah, Jayson Tatum had this quote saying the game 3s have been his favorite, which also should tell you how many times they've had home court advantage in the playoffs. But he said he loves game 3s. We do the vibes would be crazy. I love the crazy folks, dog. And for the people that think that Jayson Tatum is quiet, not competitive, whatever opinion or perspective you have on Jayson Tatum, this says a lot. He said he loves game 3s because going into that arena, he knows that those fans cannot wait to watch that game, that they've been sitting on their hands for the last 2 games, however, a couple days, almost a week, waiting for that game, and the energy is crazy. I was like, oh, this motherfucker's crazy. I said, oh shit. Oh, you like Steph Curry? You're nuts. You like that? I said, you like that, dog? I was like, oh, hell no. So, yeah, going into Game 3 of the WNBA Finals, the Liberty is going to Minneapolis. And like I said, the fuck is going on outside? Gotta win tonight. We have to win tonight. And we have obviously two players in Breanna Stewart and Navisha Collier that are chasing greatness in their own regard, right? And so this WNBA Finals, I think, really does go a long way. And in terms of the popularity of these players as well, too, right? With the game really expanding and growing like the way that it has. I'm going to repeat it again because this is what I said the other day. What is it? What's the nickname? What's the nickname? Let's hear it. Because I know I'm going to forget to ask. Alright, this motherfucker just not gonna give us a nickname. I'm hearing you out, dog. Let me cool. You fucking like, nah, you pulling my leg. You try to drag this bitch out. Who? Dante DiVincenzo equals? What's about to happen, man? Oh, Villanova. Oh, I think oh, that's fire. That's fire. That's fire. Nah. You right. That's facts. That's facts. I think, although I will say he probably not gonna like that, but I do like it. Hey, but no, he can't go against the Knicks though. So I'll tell you what. If he cook us, he get the name. If he cook us in the regular season, he get the name. He gonna have to cook us though. He can't have the name and not cook us. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he gonna have to fry our shit to get the name. We gotta spread it, but he's gonna have to torch us. I mean, everybody else is cool. He gonna have to torch us first to be the real villain. But I fuck with it. I fuck with that name. I think that shit's hard too. Especially because it'll only apply to him right now type shit. I like it. Nah, that's just tough. Because listen, if we get into the game and he has fucking 9 points, I'll email him too. I'll send that boy a DM. Fuck, what was it? I don't even think. Yo, I think I was saying the other day, it'd be lit if the Timberwolves had a day off today so they could watch the Lynx play. Because I think seeing Anthony Edwards, like all those guys, would have been crazy. But that's not the case. I think they actually have a game like in Chicago or some shit for like Lonzo's debut or whatever. So that's not gonna be the case. But yes, before we get out of here, I just wanted to reiterate the point for the Liberty because I want to say it before it fucking happens. We have to play through Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. We have to play through our stars. In both games, that's how the Liberty got their lead. And like I keep saying about the Lynx, they are so consistent in their style of play, which is simply to just run their offense through Navisha Collier. You saw Maris from Chicago. Kid is nice. Nah. Who that? Oh, I was high on him. Bro, I was saying it during the draft. I literally said, no bullshit, I'm gonna have to go back. I was like, I don't have I don't have any real reason to feel like this. Like I like watching him, I was like, I don't really, but I felt like he would be like really nice. I know everybody been saying I think Reed Shepherd from Houston. I'm not saying he's not gonna be a good basketball player, but the way they're talking about him, you would think we got fucking Steph Curry coming out, and I just don't think that's the case. But yeah, this Matas Buzelis, right, or some shit like that. First of all, his name sounds insane. His name sounds insane. The way he just celebrated, it was for him and his brother. Like, he was crying, and then you see his game. There's an intensity in the way that he plays. And I like it. I like the way he plays a lot. You can see when some players just have it, and when you play, yeah. And it's like, and I think the theme of this episode has been, it's the stuff out, not necessarily the actual skill of the game. Like, there's just something about him. Like, he looked like he'll run through a brick wall for you. No bullshit. Like, and do it. He'll run through and be like, yo, what happened? He'll run through like, yo, what's happening? Like, we good? But yeah, I fuck with his game, whether he capitalized on it. But yeah, I do think that there's hopefully their situation gets really good, because we've seen bad situations turn good players into very mediocre looking players. So hopefully, their situation gets good. But I do think he's super nice. I do think he's real nice. I saw everyone was talking about Reece Sachet, the number 1 draft pick. Dog, I'm not super high on that kid. Hopefully he proves me wrong. I hope everyone does well. I don't see it. But we almost an hour and a half in this motherfucker. Alright, I'm about to get out of here. Liberty gonna win tonight. Y'all better play through fucking Breonna Stewart and Sabrina, or I'm a flip some shit, dog. Because the Minnesota Lynx, they be doing the same shit, and they're just like, all right, we gonna run it. They're like, all right, we gonna run it. Don't know who's who. What are you talking about? But hey, dog, that's gonna do it for me for now. I don't know if I'm gonna go live after the game later. We will see. Hopefully I'm not too upset. Hopefully they fucking win. Dog, yo, like I said before, I didn't even think I was this invested into these games, but I love basketball, and it is what it is. But that's gonna do it for me for now. I fucking appreciate y'all. I appreciate the love. Elijah, you're the fucking best, gang. I love you. You are awesome. Everybody's great. Thank y'all so much for another episode. Before I get out of here, y'all could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me. So I appreciate you for that. Thank you so much, man. I will see y'all later. Have a great rest of y'all day. I'll be back Friday for sure. Peace out. Peace out. Peace out.